How's it going, fam? Welcome back to Erica's EDC, and today we're doing the full review of the Seedy Knives Skinny Dude in CPM 1V, and it is a new month. We are into November, so we have a whole bunch of stuff to test. I want to show you guys what we will be running this month. I'll give you a little sneak peek here. As you can see, this one's already been used, catching the teeners. This one's really cool. So we'll go over the test knives, plural, for November, but I really want to get this review done on the Seedy knife because this was awesome. And it's bittersweet that it's over because I really enjoyed testing this one, and I'm kind of sad that it's, done, because in reality, I'm booked out like 3+ years for testing, so I don't get to revisit knives very often. I usually give them away. This one won't be going anywhere. Okay, this one is not going anywhere at all. But in reality, I just don't get to use them again. There are just too many knives to test. I've actually had to start telling people that reach out that I can't test their knives because I have too many on deck, and you have to be very special to get on the channel at this point, or somebody that I already work with. But yeah, all right, let's talk about the test knife for October, how that went. Seedy Knives Skinny Dude. This is the skinny version of the Dude, and the Dude that he makes is more of a beefy kind of bushcraft knife, I would say. It is a little more hard use and definitely an all-around bruiser, whereas the Skinny Dude is an outdoor paring knife, as Scott calls it. So this one has a distal taper, 3/32 stock, super thin and slicey. I did baton with it numerous times, and I recorded that. It is on the channel, but this one can handle a beating. It's just not really meant for that. The blade has, some flex. It's so thin. It's just really, truly an outdoor paring knife. Super lightweight, really slim in pocket. Came with a Kydex sheath, but I ran it in the Armis Knife and Tool Universal Paring Knife sheath. And I had this in the pocket for the whole month of October. And that's exactly what I did. Already made a video on this as well. It's on a video called Answering Your Knife Questions a couple videos back if you want more information on this whole jam. So, the knife. Scott made this for me in CPM 1V at 62 HRC. 1V is a very... I am literally being blinded all of a sudden. Oh no, I can't put that down. Wow, and my face looks all shiny now. Sorry, guys. Hopefully the clouds will kind of come in here. Ugh. Scott made this for me in CPM 1V at 62 HRC. 1V is a very kind of rare steel. You do not find it in production settings, and you don't really find it with custom makers either, unless they are very kind of niche custom makers, okay? 1V is not a popular steel, however, it's kind of cool. It has a very simple composition, kind of like 5 major elements with a few other little things sprinkled in that have like barely anything to them. It's very simplistic. It is a very high impact toughness steel. It is, from my use, fairly stainless, but it's not a stainless steel. It's a carbon steel. But it does have pretty good stain resistance. As you can see, there's really nothing on it after a whole month of use. There's maybe a little bit of patina in there, but there's also, this could be cleaned. So great stainlessness, even though it's a carbon steel. 1V, 1% vanadium. Kind of falls in line with the rest of the V series. They all have numbers, and it correlates to how much vanadium they have, basically. So 1% vanadium on this bad boy, a couple of other simple little elements there, but just super high toughness steel. Edge retention is decent, but not anything extraordinary. It's got I want to say like 2.15% tungsten, something like that. It's 2 point something, I'm pretty sure. So some wear resistance in there, but it it doesn't have the best edge retention by any means, because that's not really what it's for. It's a high toughness steel, and it will keep an edge for an okay amount of time if it's thin like this one, but edge retention isn't really where it shines, okay? We'll touch on the steel performance first. So the 1V was really, really fun. This was a steel that I did have to touch up about once a week, either on the stones or the strops. That's fine with me. It responds really well to basically anything you throw at it. It's not a like super steel, so you can manage it on ceramic stones or simple strops with the color on compound. You don't have to have diamond emulsion. You don't have to have anything expensive. I used everything from, you know, cheap marbles compound to maintain this, all the way up to Creely sharp condition diamond emulsion cream. And obviously, the more expensive you get and the more high quality you get in your compounds, the better they work, the faster they work, the more efficiently they cut. But the point is, you can manage 1V on very simple materials and media, okay? You don't need anything fancy. I sharpened this on nanowa stones, I sharpened it on diamond stones, I played around with a whole bunch of stuff. It's really easy to touch up. Like I said, zero rusting, zero pitting, nothing. I left all types of blood, juices, tripe juice, everything you can think of on this thing, because it was my EDC knife. And as you can see, no rust, no pitting, no nothing, maybe just some little hues of patina there, and obviously some scratches because I batoned multiple times with it and really kind of beat it up. Yeah, you can see there's a good amount of patina throughout there. It has a CD Vex grind, so the entire thing is convex. I have a secondary bevel on there though, and Scott did, you know, put that on there, and then I've just maintained it the same angle basically. I want to say it's like 17 degrees per side. But the 1V, my conclusion with it is that it's very user-friendly, and I think it would do well in hunting knives and for beginners, surprisingly, because it's so easy to touch up. Like I said, incredible high impact toughness, so that edge, nothing happens to it when you have a little doink. Nothing. It literally just goes flat. I didn't have any chipping, rolling, nothing. Like, this is a really good steel for beginners or people that might be on their knives. The reason I say hunting knives is because, you know, for me, if I'm processing any type of animal, nothing goes to waste. So during that process, you are scraping ribs, you are processing joints, and generally having something that has good apex stability is a good idea. So I find this to be great for any type of animal processing. You guys know I feed my dogs a raw food diet, so lots of that in the house. And yeah, this thing just did absolutely incredible. I was able to mirror polish it very, very easily with nanowa stones. They were all either like splash and go or soak stones. The only thing I would say is that that was the most pointless thing I could do to this knife, because there was no benefit to mirror polishing it. It actually, like, the edge shit out so fast, because there's nothing in here really that is, you know, holding a great edge for a very significant period of time. So I just wanted to see how it took a mirror polish edge, how quickly, and how, you know, how that whole process went, but it didn't lead to an increase in edge performance at all. It was a waste of time other than being cool for a second. This is definitely a steel where I really liked keeping it at, you know, between 325, 600 grit tops. Nice toothy edge, because you do not have a massive amount of vanadium carbides or tungsten carbides or anything within here. So you try to keep it as coarse as possible. You don't really have high hardness, high volume carbides in your favor with 1V whatsoever. Okay. But all in all, very user-friendly steel, decent edge retention. I would say it was kind of similar to like Pro Cut 52-100 realm, kind of higher edge retention within like typically what, you know, low alloys run, the higher end of that spectrum. Obviously nothing like 10V or Crewwear, anything like that, but you know, higher end of good, if you will. Very much recommend 1V if you can get your hands on it. If you have, you know, if you know a maker that has this steel, I think Scott is one of the only ones. If you can, you know, manage to get a knife from him in 1V, I highly, highly recommend it. It's just a really fun, kind of rare steel, and you don't have to be afraid of it at all, okay? Let's go over the design, kind of how this worked for me in my testing. And again, a month of consecutive use. We do not review knives on the channel unless they've been sharpened. If they have to be carried for a month consecutively, then they get a review. So I really get to bond with the knives over that 30 days, and you know, you learn a lot. This is a true, real knife, guys. This is no frills, no fancy stuff, a handle and a blade, simplistic, fits the human hand perfectly, and there's, you know, there's something very special about a real knife. This is a little bit of a ballsy statement, but just think about it. There's only so far that you can go with a knife before it starts getting a little silly, okay? In my opinion, knives are tools that we've been using, you know, basically since the dawn of mankind, okay? It's a primal instinct, and we still use them every single day. Even if you're not into EDC, you are using knives in your kitchen. You are using knives, you should be, every day. It's just something that we use, right? And to me, I really like when makers respect kind of the primal nature of a knife and they don't go overboard with making it silly and kind of useless. So I really like a simplistic ergonomic handle, a drop point or spear point blade, you know, maybe a clip point, but just something very basic, useful, that makes sense. And this makes sense. There's nothing to it. It's kind of like a steak knife, you know, kind of, again, outdoor paring knife type deal. But it feels very, very good in hand, and it's just a pleasure to use because I connect with it, and I connect with it because it's a real knife. And again, we're not crapping on anything fun or fidgety or cuckoo or recurves or tantas or anything. I'm just saying, like, real, simple tools, I just like them. They're the easiest to use. They're the easiest to sharpen. It just feels more natural to me. So Scott did an awesome job with the Skinny Dude, just making it a truly useful tool. I love how lightweight it is. I love how slim it is. It was more than capable of everything I threw at it. It was just really fun to use. There's nothing I would change about it. I think the only thing that I said was, like, you know, in one of the videos where I was batoning and stuff, if you are planning on doing a lot of camp craft with your knife and you plan to use your knife for 45 minutes straight, I'm not sure if I would pick the Skinny Dude. I would probably pick the Dude, just because this is so, you know, slim, and it's an outdoor paring knife. It's not really meant to be hard use, okay? So, just awesome. Absolutely awesome. Really, really enjoyed testing this. Let's, you know, wrap that up, and we'll go into the test knives for November. Also, I forgot to say why we're in the truck. It's because everybody around me is leaf blowing right now. Oh, hold on. Battery is running low. Everybody's leaf blowing. I didn't think you guys would be able to hear me if I was outside. So, let's look at the knives for November that we're testing, okay? The main one on the belt is going to be the Rowland Cutlery. Where is it? Rowland Cutlery, Bobcat and Pro Cut, Pops Pro Cut, 63 HRC. This is going to be on the belt every day. This is Tim's version of an EDC knife. So every maker generally has their own version of an EDC knife. This is Tim's. I believe he said that you can use it for hunting too, which makes sense because it very much is kind of that style. No choil, no sharpening choil there. Just really ergonomic, thin, slicey, beautiful. He made these segmented scales. It is in Pro Cut, so we get some more testing on that. But this is just a very thin, slicey EDC knife that I'm really excited to test. He threw this together for me in under 24 hours, just like on a whim. Tim is a very talented maker, guys. He's down around a lot of the Pops boys, okay? I kind of group like Tim, Steve Kalari, Dusty from Duckhead Forge, Levi from Northern Knifeworks, Joey Berry. They're all kind of floating around down there and make really, really good knives, and Tim is no exception. I mean, his fit and finish is just ridiculous. He's been doing this for a long time, guys. Long time. He makes all types of knives. The camera's not focusing, but his fit and finish is absolutely immaculate. It's superhuman. It doesn't make any sense. Extremely comfortable in hand. We have a little bit of a, subtle Coke bottle shape on this. Absolutely adore that, but it's still thin. Rides on the belt really, really nice. Came with a beautiful leather sheath. Sharpened spine. I did already start a fire with this. I've been using it. I've been doing the dog food processing, all kinds of stuff. Fire prep. That's why it looks all kind of yucky right now, because it's got fat wood, like, pitch all over it, and there's some patina from some dog food stuff. But this is just kind of cool. It almost reminds me of the Creely, is it Mako? I think it is, the Creely Mako. It kind of looks like that. It also kind of looks like the Ranger that Dusty and I do from Duckhead Forge. They're all very similar in terms of having, kind of this like shorter blade, not snub nose, but just a shorter blade, really slicey, and then a more full-size handle. And it's just kind of a cool little setup. Just awesome. So that'll be on the belt for the month. And I have so many things that I need to test that I figured I would do the 30 days consecutive carry with the Bobcat, and then throw in a few other knives for testing as well. And these will all get their own 30 days of consecutive testing, but I just want to throw these in here for other things as well while we're waiting, because I just have so much to test. We do have the Escapist from Caleb's Cleavers. This is his EDC design, or one of his. He has a couple. 14C28N at 63 HRC, I believe. Just a beautiful little EDC knife. He makes the walkabout that looks very much like this as well. It just has a different shaped blade, but he made me a walkabout, and it was just like way too big for me. I think he underestimated how tiny I am. I am very small. So he made me a walkabout, which was a tiny knife for him. It was huge for me. So I was like, he was like, maybe we have to make an Erica size knife. And we came up with the Escapist, which is very small. I think it's like 7 inches long or something, but little tiny EDC knife, super thin, super lightweight, just a classic kind of look there. I mean, there's not really much to it. Very classic. So I need to get some use in with this, but again, these are all going to be fully tested as well. I just need to be showing and testing multiple things at once right now because we have so many things to do. What else are we going to be playing around with continually? The Pro Cut Mini Layman from JB Knifeworks, Joey Berry. JB Knifeworks, one of the 3 owners over at Pop's Knife Supply. This is the Mini Layman. Has a really nice guard here. Little tiny blade, full-size handle, kind of similar to the Bobcat. This is, it has a tapered tang. This is just absolutely stunning. Joey made this for me to test and review. I've had it for a while. I've been tinkering around with it, but I need to get more content on it. Really nice little pinch grip there. Just a cool little blade that we need to get more use in with. We also have the Babymoon Blades Nitro Hunter in Nitro V, the newest edition of the Hunter from Babymoon Blades. Adam is one of these guys too. He's not down in Georgia, but he is, him and Caleb actually remind me a lot of each other because they both forge a lot. They both are really good at what they do, and just down to earth, cool dudes. So this is the Hunter. This is just a beefy, like, just an absolute beefcake of a knife. I've already used this and done some content on it, but this one is just absolutely sick. Really cool. So I'm excited to get more use in with that. And lastly, one of my favorite boys, Dusty from Duckhead Forge. He's the manager at Pops. He made another chum, and this one's in Pro Cut, so we'll be testing this as well. And the chum is a design that I did with Dusty. This is our outdoors knife. Kind of basically the biggest knife that I've ever designed with someone. I think it's almost 9 inches long, I want to say. But just a beefy outdoors knife. Really cool. 64 HRC on this one with that Pro Cut, so we've got a little bit of a spectrum here. So we've got 1, 2, 3 knives in Pro Cut that we'll be testing around. I've tested Pro Cut a lot. I was one of the first people to test it because I am very lucky, and I don't deserve any of it, but I am lucky. So I have a really good grasp on how Pro Cut works, but it's always good to see how consistent things are, okay? So having a number of blades in Pro Cut at, different thicknesses, different BTE, different hardnesses, it's just good to see how consistent they are, especially when they're from different makers. I love doing consistency testing. I know it can be kind of like lame to watch, but if you're really into knives, maybe you will appreciate the consistency and not just like testing a steel one time and then being like, this is the best steel ever. Toss it in the back, never revisit it again, because you never know. We all have heard interesting things about a number of steels. S30V chippy, Maximate chippy, MagnaCut warping, MagnaCut rolling a lot. There are all different things that you can kind of hear about steel, and unless you keep testing, you're never really going to figure anything out. You can't just test one thing one time and then make a decision on it and never look back, in my opinion. I think it's great to keep testing and see how things are going. So, yeah, the 1V kind of reminds me of Pro Cut, actually. They're both great, but we'll continue, testing, and I think that's kind of it. We have a storm rolling in, guys. It's getting very dark here, but I just wanted to get that review out of the way. Again, thanks for sticking around, guys. I really appreciate it. I know that the fixed blade content is really hit or miss. A lot of people like folders, and a lot of people like the latest and greatest, and it's just not going to happen on this channel, and I'm sorry, but I really am so dedicated to custom makers and using their knives and getting content out on those, because they do so much for the community and so much for us, and a lot of them don't have enough time to be doing this much content and doing this much testing. They're doing a bazillion other things. So I know it can be kind of like redundant, if you will, with the fixed blade content, but it's a hit I'll take to help my friends. The channel clearly is not for views, and it's not monetized, so it's not for money. It is literally for friendship. So if it's getting lame, I'm sorry. It is what it is. It ain't gonna stop. But we got a lot of cool stuff to test, guys. So I will see you on the next video. I guess we'll use the Bobcat for the use your shit. Please check out all these makers, guys. They're incredible. They're truly incredible people. They all do amazing work. So please check them out. But I suggest that you try to go use your shit. Just try and learn how to sharpen your knives, maybe, if you want. And we'll see you guys at your mom's house, okay? I love you so much, fam. Take care.